he did that a lot, where he would kind of protect me that first year.
A great early memory I have is just a few days before shooting started. Tommy came to my office and said, listen, I want to show you an idea that I had for the opening. We can take him through this room and through Josh's bullpen and then through here. We'll just casually walk through the Oval Office with no preamble. Once I started seeing Tommy's vision for the show, I really started getting the chills, and I just wanted to be as good as that was and as good as the actors were.
One of the first things that I remember on the show was meeting Martin Sheen, and it was right outside the Oval Office, if I'm not mistaken. And he said, I'm gonna teach you this handshake that Lawrence Fishburne taught me when we did Apocalypse Now. He taught it to me, now I'm gonna teach it to you. And in that moment, it really calmed all of my nerves. And I just couldn't believe that I was there, and I just did not want to mess up being with, these actors.
The memories associated with West Wing are in two categories. There's the prank, silly category, and then the creative, amazing, mind-blowingly lucky categories. And the category of luck was just, there were so many that you kind of can't even remember them all, but I remember I did a long walk and talk, kind of my first big scene in the show, and Brad asked me if I wanted another take, and I said yes, and then he kind of asked for another take for me, and he did that a lot, where he would kind of protect me that first year. So I have a lot of those types of memories.
There's a scene where Yo-Yo Ma plays the Bach cello concerto. He started improvising, and Dulé, who's an amazing tap dancer, started tap dancing along to his improvisation in the midst of shooting one of the most meaningful episodes of television I ever got to be a part of. It was, nothing beats that.
We would do table readings of all the scripts. And as the show became more popular, more and more people would try to come to these table readings. And I remember the day Brian Williams, the newscaster, brought his entire family. And there's a scene where Dulé Hill picks up the phone and realizes that Mrs. Landingham has died in a car crash. And there was an audible gasp, and people were sobbing and so upset. And the poor Williams family didn't know what the hell to do.
I think one for me was my first interaction with John Spencer. That was an intimidating room to walk into. It was just daunting to see the entire cast of the show that I had already become a huge fan of. And John made his way over to me, and so he said that he was a fan of mine from Sports Night. Whether it was true or not is immaterial. It was just an immediate sort of warm feeling, like this guy's good.
We've been doing these podcasts for West Wing Weekly, Josh Malina's podcast, and I remember talking about an actor whose name I never forgot, whose name is Tom Quinn, who was behind the kiosk as I was looking for the brother of the veteran who had died. And when I mentioned his name, his children contacted me and were so grateful that I acknowledged how wonderful their dad was, and he was actually a veteran and a lovely actor, and he had passed, but it was really touching that I was able to make them feel proud and happy for a moment. Stuff like that.
There was one scene that I remember very well. I had to give a specific set of numbers and had to toss them out to everybody. And I remember asking Aaron Sorkin, I said, Aaron, the numbers are really long. I mean, you really have to be, do I have to be exact? Do I have to give them exactly? I mean, I could just pretend I'm signing and get away. He said, no, Marlee, you have to fingerspell them correctly. So I did it like as best as I could with the numbers, and it was really stressful. But all in all, my time there was, it was great. Every time I would come to work, it was great.
I said I would take the show, and then I found out I was pregnant. And so when I joined, I think I was 3 or 4 months pregnant. So I just acted, and they would try to cover it up with, they'd let out my pants, and I would carry boxes. You see a lot of raincoats over the arm, a lot of sitting behind desks. And then they called me like 5 days after she was born. He said, well, how good do you feel? And I was like, They were like, how would you feel about coming into work? So I came back with Margaret 7 days after she was born, it was just nice. I mean, everyone got to hold her. 7 days old, I have Martin holding her, and Brad and Allison.
There's so many people after the show over the years that have come up to me and say, because of the West Wing, because of Charlie, because of Sam, because of Josh, because of CJ, I went into political science. Now I work in government. It's happened so many times with people here in this nation and in nations abroad. So it's impressive to me, and I think I appreciate the fact that the show has had that kind of effect.